Have you ever felt like life was passing you by while you were too busy chasing the next deadline? I've been there, drowning in the chaos of modern life until one moment changed everything. But let me tell you the story of a good friend of mine. He had it all, a high-paying but responsible job at a big multinational company, a loving wife, and two beautiful daughters. You know, the kind of guy who is so lucky that their career just goes without a hitch. From the outside, his life looked perfect. But one afternoon, without a word to anyone, he got in his car, drove it to the outskirts of the city, and stepped in front of a speeding train. I just hope he died instantly, as his body was scattered across the tracks for nearly 1,000 feet. No one saw it coming. No one knew the weight he was carrying until it was too late. This is what chronic stress can do to us. He was barely in his 40s. When I heard the news, I just froze, completely paralyzed with horror. I just couldn't believe it. That was the moment everything changed. That moment made me realize there was no time to waste. I had to break free from my old lifestyle and embrace slow living right away. That truly shook me out of my old habits. I could not believe that I would never see my colleague again. I was completely devastated by this. I do remember as I stepped outside and found a quiet corner in a park with a bench, a gentle breeze, and the sound of birds chirping, a stark contrast to the cacophony I'd been living in. In that vulnerable moment, I made a promise to myself. I would reclaim my time and, more importantly, my life. I just had enough. I was done. Done chasing a life that was running me into the ground. Done waiting for someday to finally slow down. Right then and there, I made a vow. No more. Period. I was breaking free from the cycle. I was choosing slow living, not tomorrow, not next year, but right now, because if I didn't, I wasn't sure I'd survive it. Before that, my days were a blur, waking up to a barrage of emails, grabbing coffee on the run, and barely noticing the world around me. I felt like I was living on autopilot, my true self buried beneath layers of obligations and expectations. In fact, that turning point came on a particularly overwhelming day, when after a heated argument with myself about never having enough time, I finally paused. You know, the concept of slow living is more important today than ever before. We're constantly bombarded with messages telling us to go faster, be more productive, and achieve more in less time. But in the midst of all this chaos, we're losing sight of what truly matters. We're sacrificing our well-being, our relationships, and our happiness for the sake of speed and efficiency. I'm telling you, slow living, or simple living, is about recognizing the value of slowing down, of taking a step back, and of being present in the moment. It's about embracing the beauty of imperfection, of uncertainty, and of simplicity. It's about finding joy in the everyday moments, rather than constantly striving for something more. In a world that's obsessed with speed and productivity, slow living is a radical act of rebellion. It's a declaration of independence from the fast-paced, stress-filled lifestyle that's been forced upon us. It's a choice to live life on our own terms, rather than conforming to the expectations of others. As we explore the concept of slow living, I want to invite you to reflect on your own life. Are you feeling burnt out, stressed, and overwhelmed? Are you tired of living in a state of constant hurry? If so, then it may be time to consider embracing the slow living lifestyle. I've heard stories of people who have transitioned to slow living, and the transformations they've experienced are nothing short of remarkable. There's Sarah, who used to work 12-hour days, but now runs her own small business from a small town in the countryside. She wakes up every morning at 6 a.m., takes a walk in the woods, and spends her days working on projects that bring her joy. She earns half as much, but is 10 times happier now, and was already one step away from depression. Then there's Mark, who, Used to be a high-stress executive, but now lives in a tiny house traveling the country and pursuing his passion for nature photography. He's learned to appreciate the beauty of simple life and has discovered a sense of freedom that he never thought possible. I've also heard stories of people who have struggled to make the transition to slow living. Rachel, for example, who felt guilty for taking time off work and struggled to prioritize her own needs. She felt like she was failing, like she wasn't doing enough. But with time, she learned to let go of her need for perfection and to focus on what truly mattered. There's also James, who felt like he was losing his identity when he left his high-powered job. He felt like he was no longer important, no longer needed. But as he slowed down, he discovered a new sense of purpose, a new sense of meaning. He started volunteering at a local non-profit and found a sense of fulfillment that he had never known before. As I reflect on these stories, I'm reminded of a time that underscored the benefits of slow living. It was quite many years ago when I realized that I couldn't keep going on like this. I needed to make a change, so when I took a step back and started to prioritize my own needs, I started taking long walks in the morning, practicing yoga, and reading books that nourished my soul. I started saying no to commitments that didn't align with my values, and yes, to experiences that brought me joy. And as I did, I felt a sense of peace, a sense of calm that I had never known before. It was as if I had finally found my way home. After years of wandering in the wilderness, I had finally found a sense of purpose, a sense of meaning that went beyond my job, my title, and my accomplishments. I had found a sense of self, a sense of identity that was rooted in my values, my passions, and my desires. As you reflect on your own life, I want to invite you to consider the benefits of slow living. What would it be like to wake up every morning feeling refreshed, feeling renewed? What would it be like to have the time, the energy, and the resources to pursue your passions, to explore your creativity, and to live a life that truly reflects your values? But what I have to tell you is that it wasn't easy in the beginning, believe me. I faced skepticism from friends and a lingering doubt that perhaps I was missing out on something by slowing down. Yet with every passing day, I started noticing something incredible. The simple act of slowing down was opening up a space inside me that I hadn't felt in years. A space filled with peace, creativity, and genuine connection. The good news is that you don't have to make drastic changes to start embracing slow living. You can start small by taking a few deep breaths, by going for a walk, or by simply being present in the moment. You can start by prioritizing your own needs, by saying no to commitments that don't align with your values, and by saying yes to experiences that bring you joy. You can start by simplifying your life, by letting go of the things that no longer serve you, and by focusing on what truly matters. You can start by being kind to yourself, by being gentle with yourself, and by treating yourself with compassion and understanding. As you start to embrace slow living, I want to encourage you to be patient, to be kind, and to be gentle with yourself. Remember that it's a journey, not a destination. It's a process of discovery, of exploration, and of growth, but I promise you the benefits are worth it. Slow living is not just a lifestyle, it's a state of mind. It's a way of being in the world, of engaging with the world, and of experiencing life in all its beauty, its complexity, and its simplicity. So I want to leave you with a challenge today. I want to challenge you to take one step towards slow living. Take a deep breath, take a step back, and start to prioritize your own needs. Start to focus on what truly matters, and start to let go of the things that no longer serve you. As you do, I promise you that you'll start to experience the benefits of slow living. You'll start to feel more calm, more peaceful, and more fulfilled. you'll start to live a life that truly reflects your values, your passions, and your desires. And you'll start to experience the joy, the beauty, and the simplicity of slow living. Did you know that studies show people who adopt a slow living lifestyle report higher levels of happiness and lower stress? It's all about savoring moments instead of racing through life. So what do you think about slow living? Have you ever considered embracing this lifestyle? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to check out my other videos for more insights and tips on living a balanced life. But if you have decided to change your life and to start slow living, but you don't know how to begin, here are some heartfelt steps that helped me and can help you too transition into this more mindful way of being. Number 1. Embrace digital boundaries. I started by setting specific times to disconnect from my phone. I turned off notifications during meals and long before bedtime, which allowed me to truly engage with those around me and my own thoughts. Number 2. Practice daily mindfulness. I dedicated just 20 minutes each day to sit in silence, focus on my breath, and observe the world without judgment. This simple practice gradually transformed my outlook on stress and chaos. Number 3. Prioritize real connections. I learned to say no to commitments that drained my energy and yes to moments that nurtured my spirit. Whether it was a spontaneous chat with a friend or a quiet walk in the park, I began to cherish genuine interactions over superficial busyness. Number 4. Keep a gratitude journal. Each night I jotted down the small moments I was thankful for. A smile from a stranger, the taste of my favorite meal, or the warmth of a sunny day. These notes reminded me daily of the beauty that surrounds us if we only take the time to notice it. All right, my dear guests, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. At least I hope so.